And what is up, Fantasy Football Nation? We are doing our first mock draft of the season. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any fantasy questions or comments, put them in the comment section, and I will get to them on the next video. We are, like I said, this is our first mock draft so far. I'm picking 6th in this round. It's saying that Michael Thomas could be available. And he is. That surprised me. Michael Thomas is available. So I'm definitely going to take Michael Thomas with my first round pick, and I'm very happy with it. I think I can come back in round 2 and get a pretty reliable option at the running back position. Come back in rounds 2 and 3 possibly. So let's see if we can get this. Going to situate the camera real quick if possible. All right. So there you can see the clock for now. You can see the players listed above. We are doing this on Yahoo. I wanted to do it on NFL.com, but they've had some trouble with their mock draft, so I decided to come over to Yahoo and do it. But this, if you guys have any thoughts on who I should pick or who I should have picked, because this won't be live, be sure to let me know in the comment section what I should have done compared to what I actually did do. So far, we've got, so Joe Mixon, he's still available. Okay, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Aaron Jones, and Nick Chubb are now all off the board. Those are the last picks. Can't quite get the whole screen in. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the major picks that were taken. DeAndre Hopkins is now off the board. So if Joe Mixon's available, I'm definitely taking him, hands down. He will be the pick, but I'm really in a good position because there's 3 really good running backs here. You got Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake, and Miles Sanders. I'm going to take Joe Mixon here just because I think the upside is really good in that system. Zach Taylor, they're going to rely on the running back, of course, coming from Sean McVay's system. He can maybe be that former, what we used to know as Todd Gurley. Going to try to slide this over here to the previous picks. Okay, so Miles Sanders is now off the board, so is Kenyon Drake and Travis Kelce. Unless I missed it, Patrick Mahomes is not taken yet. So if he's available, I'd have to consider him. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Is 3rd round too high for a guy like Patrick Mahomes? And, I know that I'm not a big fan of taking quarterbacks super high, but I'm telling you, if he's here when I pick, I'm 3 picks away, and he's still on that board, he's looking real tempting. I have a feeling he's not going to make it to me, but, I love Mahomes, guys. This guy is just at a totally different level, okay? 2 picks, fingers crossed. Can Mahomes make it? Oh, he was taken with that pick, 2 picks before me. Now we got to rethink this thing, okay? I could use another running back, but the top guys available really aren't that good, okay? We got Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Chris Carson. Lamar Jackson's still there if I wanted to take him. Not a big Lamar Jackson fan this year. Still the number 2 quarterback, but like I said, I don't usually take one super early. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm going to take Adam Thielen, guys. I know this sounds like an awful pick, but I really like it because he has such a high floor. He's going to get the targets from Kirk Cousins. I know that Justin Jefferson and Irv Smith will all have parts in the offense, but I was never a big fan of Thielen before because of Stephon Diggs' presence. Well, Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore, and I think that really benefits Adam Thielen in fantasy. Before last year with his injury, he really never had any other injury problems in the past, and he was putting out, top 5 fantasy wide receiver numbers the previous couple years. So I expect that to continue. I know Minnesota wants to run the ball a lot, but I really like the fantasy outlook of Adam Thielen. Would rather have taken him in the 4th round, but, I really had a hard time figuring out a pick there after Patty Mahomes was taken. So, now, in my opinion, we kind of got to take a running back here. Jonathan Taylor, I love the potential he has with that offensive line. He could go offline in that offense. but that is a pretty steep price. Plus, a rookie in a shortened offseason. I'm not sure. And plus, let's not forget, okay, I prefer non-PPR, but this is a PPR mock draft. So in this system, Taylor isn't going to do you much from a receiving standpoint. So he may be one to avoid. So even if he is there, I may shy away from him for that reason. Looking, could take Mark Andrews, tight end. That's a little bit high for me. I'm going to zoom in a tiny bit at who's available. I am on the clock. So those are the top available players. I think I'm going to... Oh boy, this is tough. Todd Gurley was just taken. Could go receiver. Oh, man. I really don't want to do it, but I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. Well, now that I think about it, I can shy away from it, but I would prefer it, since he's not a PPR monster, I would have preferred to wait a little bit longer. But I can live with that pick. I'm just not sure how much he's going to do at the start of the year, so the rest of my guys are going to have to come through. I'm gonna go to actual positions now. If Mark Andrews... Was Mark Andrews already taken? Oh, nope, he's still there. If Mark Andrews is still there, I will definitely take him with my next pick. But tight ends generally go off higher than what I want to take them for. So maybe I will wait on that. Let's go to the running backs here. Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, DeAndre Swift, Le'Veon Bell, David Montgomery, David Johnson. Looking at the two veterans in there, Le'Veon Bell and Johnson seem to be the most logical picks. Man, that's tough. This is a really tough decision. Should I go... what do you guys think this year? I've talked a lot about rookies in a shortened offseason. How do you guys feel about them? Let me know in the comments what you think about taking a lot of rookies. Okay, I just took Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if it'd be that wise to take both him and DeAndre Swift. Or Cam Akers, he's also sitting there. I'm going to go back to the available as I'm just 4 picks away. Mark Andrews is still there, guys. If he's there, I'm definitely taking him, and I don't care what you guys say in the comment section. I love that pick if he's there. Let's see. We'll slide over to the previous picks so you can see Calvin Ridley, Cooper Kupp, David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Le'Veon Bell. Okay, well, I don't have much choice now. Both of those were knocked off the board. If Mark Andrews is taken, I'm going to be heartbroken here, guys. Let's see what happens. He has 13 seconds to pick. He didn't take him! Oh, yes, yes, yes. Mark Andrews is now on Andrews' team. Hallelujah. Okay, so this is how my lineup looks right now, guys. That's all I have. But I like it. Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, and Mark Andrews. I'm really liking how this thing is shaking out right now. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because I don't care for this portion of the draft, especially in the picking in the middle of each round. I always prefer being ahead on the running backs. Okay, if I have 2 running backs and 2 receivers, I want to get a running back next. I don't want to have more receivers because it's harder to find running backs later on. I'm confident that I can find a couple sleepers later on. I'm going to scroll down the list here so you guys can see who is still available. You can see the list there. Russell Wilson. Okay, Deshaun Watson is there. So we're starting to see the quarterbacks go off the board. Kyler Murray is still there. I'm tempted to go quarterback. Looking here, Devin Singletary, Josh Allen, Jordan Howard. Devin Singletary wouldn't be bad value being a PPR mock draft. In PPR formats, he could be a beast. Devontae Parker, David Montgomery are the 2 best available. Not super high on either of those guys, to be quite honest with you. What do you guys think of that? Of who is available? DK Metcalf and DJ Shark. Those are 2 guys that I'm super high on, and that would be really good value. But again, it's a receiver. Do I really go running back? There aren't any running backs really available outside of Montgomery, which I haven't taken in any mocks yet. but considering that there is a big drop-off coming at the position, I could. So I'm really thinking it's going to be between David Montgomery and... Oh, man, it's my turn to pick. It would be between David Montgomery and Kyler Murray. Just to see what happens. I'm going to take a risk, but I am going to take Kyler Murray with my 6th round pick. Okay, I'm pretty confident in that as well. I like Kyler Murray, and I've already drafted in 3 normal leagues, and he's really getting taken high. And I was in 1-2 QB league the other day, and he went in like the 4th round. Was really surprised to see how high he went. But overall, I like how my team is shaping out. From here, okay, this is why I'm glad I got my tight end already, because here the tight ends dry up, in my opinion. Because you have guys like, Noah Fant, Austin Hooper. Fant may be solid, but Hooper with a new quarterback, new regime, not sure how that works out. Darren Waller is still available, but I'm not sure what to think of him. I like Foster Moreau, the backup tight end, second-year pro out of LSU. Boy, this is going to be tough. I'm having a hard time. Okay, Tyler Higbee, that's another one I totally forgot about. Tyler Higbee's a guy that a lot of people are high on. I prefer getting him on NFL.com, and I mentioned that in one of my other videos. He's bringing much better value on NFL.com. You can get him in the 13th or 14th round, and that's really what fantasy is. It's all about finding value from where you're slotted to pick. Cam Akers is sitting there. I'm not taking T.Y. Hilton. He is on my bust list this year, simply because Philip Rivers throws the bigger wide receivers. I've mentioned Michael Pittman before as a late-round guy you could probably target. Since I have Jonathan Taylor, I'm probably going to avoid the rest of the Colts team in this draft. I try not to go super heavy with one certain team. And I'm up to pick. I need a running back, so I'm going to pull the trigger on Devin Singletary. I'm pretty confident in this. I have a flex spot now. So this is how my team is going to look now. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more on that. So we got Kyler Murray, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, and Devin Singletary. Let me know what you guys think of that so far. I do have a few bye weeks on week 8. I'd have to worry about that. But other than that, I think that's a pretty solid so far. I'm looking at some of these picks that the other guys are taking. I get a kick out of some of these guys and stuff. I hate it when you're in a mock draft and someone drafts like all guys that are like not even being drafted and stuff just to screw up the draft. But this one so far has gone pretty well. These guys seem to be pretty fantasy savvy. Darius Geis is a guy that I think he's being taken a little bit too high. He can't stay healthy. We talked about Washington on the NFC East video, which will be coming out soon in the next couple days. But, I mean, Bryce Love is there. Chris Thompson is there. You do have some other receivers, or running backs, excuse me. But really, there isn't anything proven there. Adrian Peterson's going to be 40 years old. They're going to be throwing a lot because they're always behind. I'm up to pick again, looking at who's available. I'm going to avoid Michael Gallup at all costs. I think the addition of CeeDee Lamb really cuts into his target share. I can go receiver here. I'm going to take a chance on Will Fuller, guys. I know that's probably not smart. I should have taken a little bit more time. Let's look at the receivers that are available right now, and you guys can tell me what you think. But I like what Will Fuller's potential with, of course, DeAndre Hopkins not being there anymore. He has the best rapport of any of the receivers with Deshaun Watson. They brought in Brandon Cooks. They have Randall Cobb. They have Kiki QT, I still believe. A lot of these small guys that are going to run underneath routes. But I think Will Fuller, if he can stay healthy, could be a top 15 fantasy wide receiver. But really, if you look at the numbers, that's not really any bold take, because when he has been healthy, he's been a beast. I mean, he'll have you 3 games in a row, he'll get you 20 or 30 points. and then he busts out after that once the injuries come into play. So defenses are being taken off the board. To me, that is too high for me. Okay, that's the end of the 8th round. That is way too high for me for defenses. Okay, defenses are something you take round 10, maybe the late round 9, but 8, especially at the end of round 8. To me, that's a touch too high. I know the Steelers and 49ers and Ravens. You have the defense is top heavy this year, but you're not gonna lose your league because you don't have a good defense. I mean, you're really not. Yeah, I just can't bring myself to taking a defense quite that high. Maybe you guys can talk me into it. Let me know if you guys think something different in the comment section. I'm up. Do not take Jarvis Landry, by the way. I've mentioned that on several videos. Do avoid him. Looking at who's available, Debo has the injury concern. I'm going to go with my Pittsburgh Steeler guy, Deontay Johnson. And he's starting to get hyped up a little bit more than he probably should be. 9th round is a little bit of a stretch, but if you look at the upside in this offense, Randy Fichtner, Steelers offensive coordinator, he doesn't throw the ball downfield, want the ball thrown downfield a whole lot. Ben has been getting it out quicker the last couple years just to try to elongate his career. Deontay Johnson's an excellent route runner. I wasn't a huge fan of the pick on draft night, but I've grown to like this guy. Really explosive playmaker, not super fast, but he's really quick. Has a very similar to Antonio Brown type skill set. I don't think he'll have quite that same production, but it wouldn't shock me if he was a 1,000-yard receiver this year. And in PPR formats, he's probably going to get you a lot of catches, maybe even more than Juju Smith-Schuster. Chase Claypool, being a rookie, probably isn't going to do a whole lot. James Washington, I'm not a big fan of. So this is the last pick we're going to do before we take a quick break, and we'll move all the way to the end of the draft, and then we'll come back and recap what has happened since then. Yeah, this is brutal. All right, I'm going to get out of the wide receivers. I'm not taking another wide receiver. Phillip Lindsay still available. Matt Breida, Jordan Howard, Keyshawn Vaughn. Let's look at the news here. He's going to likely begin season as a backup. Okay. Sounds like Ronald Jones is going to be the down back to start off the year. Jordan Howard, if it wasn't PPR, and this is a tricky thing in fantasy, in normal leagues, I would say definitely take Jordan Howard before Matt Breida. But again, being a PPR league, I'm not the best PPR guy. I prefer non-PPR, but because of this, Breida is going to be the pass-catching back, so I'm going to opt with Breida. All right, we'll be back in just a few moments, and then we'll recap everything else that has happened since then. So stay tuned. And welcome back, guys. Thank you for hanging on. We are now in round 14. We're just about finishing up the draft. We're going to take you home for the last 2 rounds. And I'm going to kind of give you guys a quick rundown of what happened since we left. You guys saw pretty much my starting lineup. I ended up taking Matt Prater a couple rounds ago as kickers started to go off the board. Felt like I needed to grab one. I also grabbed Mike Gesicki as a backup tight end to Mark Andrews. And then I grabbed Darrell Henderson at running back. I felt like that was really good value. So now I need a defense. I can go with Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, or Cleveland. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this one. And I talked about them on the NFC South video. I just really like the way that they were trending last year with Todd Bowles. Shaq Barrett is becoming an elite pass rusher. Vita Vea is an elite run stuffer. In the secondary, Sean Murphy-Bunting is an emerging star. Carlton Davis really gave them some nice reps last year. So I really like where this defense is headed. Todd Bowles is a really good coach. Was kind of given a raw deal in New York when he was the head coach of the Jets, but I think he should get another chance as head coach at some point. But to finish out the draft, I'm going to go with one of my homers, probably. We'll see how this board plays out. Okay, I'm going between a couple. Jamison Crowder, I've queued for a reason, because being a PPR format, he could if he can stay healthy for the full year, and Sam Darnold can stay healthy for a full year. Just look at the connection that they had last year. They really had something special going. This is tempting because the other guy I want to go with is Steven Sims. Sims, of course, I talked about him earlier and stuff, having a very similar to Antonio Brown type skill set. We talked about Deontay Johnson earlier. Well, Steve Sims could have come at a lot cheaper price, and I was still hoping the Steelers would take him. He showed some flashes last year. I've talked to Washington fans who really, really like Steven Sims to be a good number 2 for him. I mean, someone else has to produce outside of Terry McLaurin. Someone else is going to get the targets that he doesn't get. And I think he's the front runner to get them. I don't even know if Paul Richardson's there anymore. I don't even know who all is there. Trey Quinn, I think, is having some injury problems. They don't have very much. The cupboard's empty. Calvin Harmon is the other guy that I think was fighting for targets. But, I mean, he can't. I want to say he ran like a 4.6 40 or something. He's not very explosive. Haskins will probably be throwing more underneath this year in this new Ron Rivera system. Just a hunch. So, I don't know. You guys can tell me what I should have done. Should I go with my homer Steve Sims, or should I go with Jamison Crowder? Being a PPR format, I'll probably be a good boy and take Jamison Crowder. But, man, it's tough. We'll review my roster once more before we close out the video. As you see, there's some still good players there. Zach Moss, a running back I was pretty high on. But I did draft Devin Singletary. I know a lot of you guys like the handcuff running backs. I decided not to. I'm not a big handcuff guy. But that's just me. All right, there we go. Here's my team pulled up. This is my whole team. Let's see if I can zoom in just a tiny bit more. There we go. All right. So Kyler Murray at quarterback, Michael Thomas and Adam Thielen at receivers, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor at running back, Mark Andrews at tight end, Devin Singletary is a flex. To me, that's a pretty comfortable starting lineup. Matt Prater and the Tampa Bay defense, I know both of those are a bit shaky. I know that, Prater, he can make the long field goals, but last year he had a few games where he missed like 5 field goals, it seemed. The last 2 years, I will tell you, I've had a horrible time with kickers. Every time I try to stream them, they always turn out horrible. That's why sometimes I just prefer getting one early and being okay with it. But Matt Prater, and then Tampa Bay's defense, we talked about Tampa Bay. Not an awful pick there at the end of the draft. And then my bench, Deontay Johnson, Matt Breida, Mike Gesicki, Darrell Henderson, and Jamison Crowder. I think that's pretty quality depth. Breida and Henderson both going to be good being a PPR league. Mike Gesicki could be a monster for Miami. He showed a good rapport with Ryan Fitzpatrick. The one thing I will notice is that I do have both Breida and Gesicki. So probably if this was an actual league, I would probably put one of them on the trade block and try to move one of them. But other than that, I think that's a pretty good draft. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section. If you guys want to join in some fantasy mock draft at some point, maybe we can schedule one, have some different people from our channel do it, and maybe we can make a video out of it somehow. That's going to do it all for today. Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you put in a fantasy comment or question and I did not get to today, I will get to it on the next video. That's going to do it. We will see you next time. Be sure to like, share on social media, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Go Steelers. Have a good night.